could never sleep well in hotels. I guess that's somewhat of an understatement. I could never sleep well in general, but hotels were the worst. Just the thought that the previous occupant of this bed is a complete stranger was repulsive in my mind. But that's beside the point. What I'm getting at is how the lack of sleep in hotels changed my life. Christmas, we were spending Christmas in a shitty hotel and not with family. Great. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I don't enjoy the all-you-can-eat buffet of soggy hash browns and grits for Christmas Eve dinner. Of course, the first snow of the season had to cancel our flight down to Virginia. It was Christmas Eve, and I was trying to sleep in this bleach-saturated room. My mind was wondering what happened here to cause such an excessive amount of bleach. The room was nothing out of the ordinary. 2 beds, one for me and my dad, and another for my sister and my mum. A bathroom, and a stained microwave that looked in the need of a good dusting. Somehow I escaped the room and the stench of bleach into a dreamless sleep. I wake up. I could tell it was early morning. My dad was next to me snoring, and he usually wakes up before 4 a.m. That's when it hit me. It's Christmas, and I was about to let the bad fortune ruin my favorite holiday. Looking across the bed at the clock to check the time is when I noticed the silhouette of a man about 6'3" across the room staring at my mum, sleeping. Still half asleep, I caught up in the moment. I couldn't help think of Santa Claus. I realized how stupid it was, and horror soon filled my head. I choked back a shriek. I knew I couldn't let him see me awake, so I quietly put my head back down and pretended to sleep. My mind was racing. Someone was in the room, and I couldn't do anything. This man looked like he was built like an ox. I was wondering if I could wake my dad up in time, but I knew it wouldn't work. He slept like a rock. A bucket of water couldn't get him up fast enough. I was practically in tears. I'd never felt so helpless. For a second time, I choked back a scream. He was standing next to me. I could feel and hear the repulsive breath on my face. It smelled like he'd been eating rotten meat for a week, and had never thought to brush his teeth. If he didn't know I was awake, surely he did now, seeing my face was contorted in fear. The breathing stopped, and I couldn't help but sigh a relief. I would have kicked myself, but there was no need. I heard the room door open and close. I launched out of bed. Nothing in the room was disarray, and my family was still asleep. That couldn't have been a dream. I couldn't have been imagining it. Feeling awake as ever, a horrible idea popped into my head, and before I could push it away, I pulled the door open. Glancing back at the door in order to memorize the room number, I saw a giant, spray-painted, black X on the door. Had I seen this without the prior experience, I probably would have thought it was just a bunch of stupid kids. I knew better, but not enough to know what it was for. My heart skipped a beat there he was, turning the corner at the end of the hall. Why am I doing this? I tailed him down the parking lot. He was nowhere in sight. One moment he's walking out the lobby, and the next, he's gone. Realizing how cold it was outside in paper-thin pajamas, I returned to the lobby. No one was around. Strange. I could swear there's usually a night guard. Adrenaline wearing off, I realized how stupid and rash my action had been. He could have killed me. I cursed myself back upstairs. I knew something was wrong when I got to my floor. The door to my room was wide open. I hadn't left it that way, had I? I walked inside, and after a quick search of the room I determined it's safe, and my family was still asleep. I locked the door and got back into bed, though I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. I listened to my dad get up, and eventually my mom followed. I still pretended to be asleep. A few hours had passed, and my parents got me and my sister up. We got into the car and made our way back to the airport. Digging through my bag to grab my iPod led to the finding of something that hadn't been there the previous day. A note that simply held the 5 words I still think about today. I knew you were awake. It's now been 2 months since the hotel experience. I'm still scared for my life, and getting worse every day. That note I found wasn't the only one. I still received them.